Hey everybody, it's Nicole. So I promised a second video and I'm using this as my self-care Sunday video. But first I wanted to let you know that I did manage to get some resin. A wonderful subscriber sent me my favorite kind of resin, which is it's Dual resin. So this is a two-part epoxy resin that I use. And she was kind enough to get me some resin. They come in, I think this is their 32 size one. They have starter kits where the bottles are like smaller like this. So you get 4 ounces of the B and then 4 ounces of the A. So I went ahead and already pre-mixed the clear portion of the resin because it takes a lot of while for me to actually mix the two parts together, because with the fibromyalgia it just takes a little bit more effort. I wanted to use this day as kind of a self-care thing, because I know, number one, you guys love to see me pour resin, and second, it helps me too. Art therapy is a big thing that helps with my anxiety, my PTSD, and then just overall well-being. So and then I chose this mold. It's a larger mold. It's a big trinket tray, and so this actual trinket tray is gonna be going to somebody that I'm trading with, and so she wanted something that is rainbow, and I have lots of other trinket trays. So like I have ones that are very unusually shaped. So I have this one. This is one of my smaller ones, and then I have this one which is really big. So as you can see, this is a sakura, and then I have smaller ones that are like this. This is a big rectangular one. So this is, if you can't tell, this is an office desk. So some of the molds that I use on a regular basis, I just store it on the keyboard pull out, because it just makes it easier for me to get to. So like I said, I've already poured out and mixed the resin. This one takes approximately 8 ounces of resin. So the person that I am trading with said that they wanted something silvery and then rainbows. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to use my two forms of like doing art is with mica powder. So the silver I'm going to use is this mica powder to use is the silver, and I don't know if you can see there. It's the pearl white, and then the rainbow, I'm going to use this celestial apple, lake, sun, and eggplant. And so, as you know, my theory about art like this is it just kind of comes out like it comes out. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the mica powder in first. So this is the mica powder, and I'm not going to put too much because I don't want to oversaturate it, because I want the person, and then you, because I am going to unmold it, to see what, you know, and how it all comes out in the end. So and then I always try to remember to put in the mica using a separate either like plastic spoon or popsicle stick or whatever. These I get, you know, Ben Franklin. I get like a couple hundred of them for like a couple of bucks. So that's what so that was the mica powder. So we're going to go ahead and mix it. So I tried to make sure it's kind of like cooking, because if you don't mix it right, you're gonna end up with lumps, and nobody wants lumps with like their art, as far as like the mica powder, and then also even when you're cooking. So gonna mix this in. You can see kind of how it's changing. So it's always, usually I try to remember, especially with the trays, I usually can remember how many ounces each tray takes. So like these ones, these are my most popular ones. I'm sure you guys remember me pouring these. Usually those take about 4 ounces a piece. And then this one is larger, so it's gonna probably need, I think, 8 ounces. So it looks like the mica is mixed in there good. So I'm going to pour this into the mold. Now I'm gonna pour it in slowly because I don't want it to overflow, and then I'm going to also pour it in slow because I don't want I want to try to control the amount of bubbles that end up in the resin itself. So just kind of move things around here because there is a lip. And the reason why I like using like art therapy or like resin pouring as my form of art therapy is because everything has to be exact. The measurements have to be exactly correct, otherwise the resin will not harden properly. You're gonna end up with bendy pieces, and it'll just be a mess. It's either won't cure properly, you'll have a bendy piece, or just it'll just be liquid, period. And then you just have to scrape everything out of the mold, and then I've had some times where I have had to throw the whole entire mold away, and molds are not cheap either. Some molds can be 50, 60. I've seen some molds that are a couple $100. So usually, especially when it comes, just like with yarn, you gotta kind of look and make sure, is this something that I really want, and not just arbitrarily say, am I going to use it? For me, the resin molds are an investment because I make and make and make and make and make to the point where the molds will essentially just come to the point where they fall apart. So like those oval ones, like I said, I've used it so much that like I've had to just throw them out and buy new ones. Luckily they're inexpensive, so I can purchase them on Amazon, and they're only a couple of dollars. So this, I think, is pretty much full. I want to just gonna bend down really quick. So if you see the top of my head, it's because I'm making sure that the resin is all the way to the top. Okay, so it looks like it, and I'm just gonna move the resin around because I don't want any pooling as far as the mica goes, because it will pool. It's like the same thing like with pooling and yarn. You know, it's like, do you want that or do you not want that? And I've been pouring resin for 5 years. It's something that I taught myself how to do through YouTube. And so, and trust me, I learned something new every single time. Like just the other day, I poured some resin for a gift for my sister because my nephew's birthday was yesterday, and I was going to give her a resin piece with photos of my nephews in it, and when I unmolded it, it was a hot mess. I was so upset because I had used some resin in the same particular mold, and there was nothing I could do to save it, and so I had to toss it in the garbage, and that was just money right down the drain. All right, so we're gonna now start putting the alcohol ink in now. So no rhyme or reason behind where I put everything. So if you wonder like how do I like decide, I don't. I just put it wherever and then try to remember wherever the color went so that I can put the next layer of that particular color in. Okay, so that was sun. And the blue that I just put in is that celestial. And then this one is the apple. And then eggplant. And then the last one is lake. So I'm hoping that the person that I'm making this for thinks that this will represent you know, a silvery rainbow. So you know, because I think it does. So all right, so this is the pusher. For those of you who may not have seen my other alcohol eggs, so this is something that's called Petri Dish Art. So the white is what pushes the rest of the colors, oops, sorry, rest of the colors down into the resin, and it will the alcohol ink does its thing all by itself. I don't do anything other than put the alcohol ink where I think it should go. Sometimes I feel like the ink tells me it should go here, and so that's where I put it. So I don't know if you can see, I'll kind of, if you can see the ink is moving, and that's because I added the pusher to the alcohol ink. Okay, so I think, all right, now second layer. All right, so we're gonna go back in with a second layer, and sometimes I do a third layer, but I think usually I've been noticing through experimentation 2 layers is plenty. because then it will oversaturate the resin, and then I will end up with a not cured resin piece, and I don't obviously want that, because like I said, that's money right down the drain. So all right, so I believe that's all of for that one. And then going in again with the sun. And like I said, I will unmold it. We're gonna unmold it on camera. I have been, you know, I'm sure if you've been following my videos lately, I've been like kind of been up and down lately. So yeah, I'm hoping that I should be able to unmold this tomorrow. I have to check it. And then, so this is the apple. I'm gonna check the mold tomorrow to make sure that the resin piece is actually ready to be unmolded, because sometimes it isn't, especially if it's humid, and it has been really humid here lately. So then this is the lake color. But yeah, I mentally have been all over the place. I have PTSD, and it's hard to have PTSD. And it's also hard. I also have bipolar 1, which if I'm wrong, or if I'm correct, there's only 2 levels of bipolar. It's 1 and 2, and 1 is the worst of the 2. And the medications that I would be able to take for PTSD wouldn't necessarily help my bipolar, or could make the bipolar worse, and vice versa. And so getting me the correct medication is incredibly difficult. So I am on Depakote, and that treats my bipolar. That helps me manage it well enough so that I can function throughout the day. If I am not on it, I'm a lot worse than probably what you've seen on the videos. So okay, so here's the eggplant. And I have been on medications where it should help, you know, my other mental health and medical issues, and it has messed with my bipolar. So I have had to stop those medications. And then I am extremely sensitive to medications as a whole. And so I have a long list of medications that I'm allergic to. So that also limits the medications that I can take. So, all right, so we're gonna go in with the next layer, or the last layer of pusher. So I'm gonna actually put a little bit extra of the pusher. Just because I just want to. I think maybe I should. That's what it's telling me, that I should. And I'm honest with you guys. I don't hide you know, what goes on with me as far as who I am. I don't believe that does anybody any good to pretend that, you know, I'm this like perfect person, because I am not. I don't have a perfect house. It's a mess most times because I don't do very good at housekeeping. And then it also, because depression is difficult to deal with, that is also a difficult thing as well. Like, and then the thing is too, is for those of you who do have depression, and who have difficulties doing things, I understand. And then I also understand for those people who have chronic illnesses and chronic pain, because sometimes it's hard to get out of bed and do things, where some days you just don't want to, and maybe you just can't, and that's okay. And it's okay to be like, you know what, today is the day that I just can't do something, or I just choose not to because I just don't want to. And that's okay too, because everybody deserves a day off from trying to get through the day. Because whether you have a mental health issue, chronic illness issue or not, if you're 100% completely healthy, it's okay too to take a mental health day, because it's healthy to say I need to step away, because that's what causes burnout. And for me, that's part of what happened, is that I did not take time for me. I just worked and worked and worked and worked and worked. And then when I, like, my body was starting to like scream at me and say there's something wrong, and I took a leave of absence, then that's when like all of these things started popping up. And now I am in my 5th year of still trying to figure out what is going on. So for those of you who are either 100% healthy or are not, it is okay to say today is binge watch day. Today is I'm gonna eat a donut and have just junky food, or you know, whatever it is you want to do, and take a day for you. If you want to have your nails done, have it done. If you want to spend a day at the park, go and do it. If you just want to take a day and spend the whole day in bed in your pajamas, do it. I always encourage people to do that, because you deserve it. And don't apologize for it. And I've already been chastised by one particular person who I have become friends with, who is also a subscriber, who always tells me, don't apologize for stuff, just do it. That's something that I'm actually working on with my therapist, because I apologize for everything, whether it's my fault or not. So yeah, it's something that has been ingrained in me from childhood, that everything has always been my fault, regardless if it is or it isn't. So yeah, so okay, so I'm all done with pouring the alcohol ink. Now it's just a matter of letting the resin cure and let the ink do its thing. Sometimes I've actually had the alcohol ink like poured out like this, wherever it needs to be put, and for some reason it all just gets sucked right into the middle, and it's perfectly fine. And I'm okay with that, because that's the way it works. Everybody has their own interpretation of how this is done. This is just mine. And it's a very messy thing, but I love it. It's something that makes me happy. And then the other thing is that I don't know if any of you know, but I do have an Etsy store. I just opened it. I have made a couple of sales, which makes me want to do a little happy dance, because I have sold a couple of boxes. I do have a couple left. So I have 2 kinds of mystery boxes in my shop. So the name of the shop is OG. So for those who don't know, I am in Hawaii. So it stands for Oahu grown. So I am on Oahu. That's where Honolulu, the capital of Hawaii, is, and where Waikiki is. So I was born and raised in Hawaii. HI for obviously Hawaii. Fibro for fibromyalgia. Yarn, because yarn, yeah, I love yarn. Resin, because of the resin. So that's the name of the shop. The link is actually in the description box. So the 2 boxes that I have available for sale are, you can get a box of just yarn, and it's a mystery box. So you would get 3.5 pounds of yarn, and I will try to my best to get one particular kind of yarn in the box to do or complete a project. I will do my best to do that. Sometimes it's hard, but I will do my best to do that. And then the other box that I have is, you get 3 pounds of resin plus 1 mystery resin item. It might be a big tray, a little tray, or I also make these jars with lids. Like I made this one. This was an alcohol ink, and this one, actually I need to finish this one. So the lid, and then on the inside, this was actually an experiment, has a crocheted piece on it. So this is actually yarn, and there's resin on it. So I just need to, I sanded it down, and then all I need to do is put what's called UV resin on top of it to smooth it out, to finish it up. So that's something that I'm working on. I want to get some other different kinds of yarns to continue that little experiment. But I figured, number one, this particular segment is something I know everybody likes. They like to have the affirmation of knowing that it's okay to take care of yourself, that it's okay to say no, that it's okay to be like, it's just not, today is not the day for me to do whatever it is that I needed to do. If, you know, sometimes even if going to the doctor is hard, for me it is, sometimes just the idea of getting up and physically going to the doctor can be really daunting. And so sometimes I have to reschedule because I can't, because I also have agoraphobia. And going like to see my rheumatologist can be difficult. It can be scary. So sometimes I've had to reschedule because of it. Or going to the grocery store. Sometimes I have a really tough time doing that as well. So it's okay to say I can't. And then I also wanted to say to the person that bought me the resin, this resin here, thank you. I wasn't sure if I could say her name, but she knows who she is. She and I are friends. I know you guys really like this segment, and you also like the self-care segment, so I figured it was a great way for me to enmesh the two, because I was really surprised at how many people missed the self-care Sunday segment last week, just because, I don't know, that's just my self-esteem and the whole imposter syndrome thing, and not thinking people are gonna figure out that I'm not like this real person, that I'm just a big fake. But I will tell you that everything that I tell you is the honest truth, and that I would never, that's just not who I am. You get what you see, and if you're not comfortable with certain things, I totally get it, but I'm going to talk about what I'm going to talk about. And if there are certain subjects that you'd like me to discuss, if you want me to discuss my bipolar, I'm happy to go in further depth with that, because I know there's not a lot of understanding when it comes to that particular mental illness. Same thing with PTSD. I know that there are a couple of things that I do want to talk about eventually, like the word triggered or triggering. It's like somehow become this like trendy word, and it really bugs the heck out of me, because it's not a trendy word and it's being used incorrectly, and it really bugs the heck out of me, because being triggered or triggering is not what you think it is. When I've seen it being used out there, like on the news or on the internet or whatever, it's not what people think it is. And it's kind of ruining it for people who actually like are being triggered, or you know, get are in that type of situation. So yeah, that's something that is going to be coming. So anyway, so I hope you guys like the way this looks. This is going to be the bottom, and then when I unmold it, you'll see what the front or the inside of the tray looks like. And what I'm going to do is I do have 2 Instagram accounts, which is in the description box. If you want to check it out, one is MDLD_13. That one is more dedicated towards like mental health, the fibromyalgia, chronic illness, chronic pain. And then I have my other page, which is the same name that I use here, which is more dedicated to you know, saying when I've put up a new video and stuff like that. And I actually finished the bag that I had made. I gave it to my sister yesterday. It came out massively bigger than I expected it to be, but I think she will be able to use it. I kind of, in her card, I kind of explained to her where I thought she could use it because it came out so big. I'm 5'1". She's shorter than me, and the bag came down to my knees with the handle untied. So I think I should have made the handle shorter, but it is what it is. But I do like the way it came out. I used Hobie's ribbon yarn. I'm going to actually be posting photos of it on my Instagram page that's connected with this account, so you can see what the FO looks like. And I made a little amigurumi jellyfish. Amigurumis are also not my strong point, but I'm working on it. But I made the jellyfish for my nephew as a birthday gift because of the party yesterday. It did call for safety eyes, but he's 1, so I felt like the safety eyes were just having like small bits of yarn attached to the eyes were not something I felt comfortable using. So the jellyfish has no face, but it does have the tentacles. And I felt comfortable giving the amigurumi that way because that's the way I would allow my children to have it. So that's what I did this weekend. It was a very long weekend, and I was left exhausted yesterday, very exhausted. And today my youngest is at his friend's house. It took a lot for me to get my butt out of bed today, and it also took a lot out of me to drive him to his friend's house because of the agoraphobia. But because I had already said that I would take him to his friend's house, I did it. Oh, and I wanted to show you guys something. I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back. So I made something for my youngest months ago because he tends to have a bit of anxiety like I do. So I found this pattern, and I don't remember who is the person that it came from, but it was on YouTube, and they're called, I think, worry worms or wiggle worms. But this is what I made for him, and it stretches out, and it's got googly eyes on it. Glue them on there. And I made him one in a different yarn prior to that. So you can see there. But he loves this thing. I made him one before, but it started to fall apart. The head started to come undone. So I made him another one in this yarn, and I think this is a whole yarn as well. I think it's umami, and he uses it, he takes it to bed, and you know, he squeezes on it, rubs the eyes, pulls on it. It's kind of like a fidget thing, so it helps his anxiety. And so, you know, I don't know if, you know, people are interested in things like this. I'd be willing to make this, something like this for people as well. And then I know a lot of you have said that you'd be interested in also buying my resin pieces. So I'm going to kind of pump out a couple of resin pieces and then put them on my Etsy shop and see how it goes as far as the sales. Because I'm not going to purchase all of the resin because it is on the expensive side if nobody's gonna buy it. So yeah, so like something like this would probably, I probably sell it for, you know, maybe $25 or $30. So this is what Petri looks like. So if you look, this is what it looked like when I poured it, for those of you who maybe are new here. And then this is what the inside looks like. If I can get the dang thing to focus. So if you can see all the resin, or I'm sorry, not the resin, but the alcohol ink, the white pushes the alcohol ink into the resin. And then this is what comes out on the top, and this is the inside. So anyhow, so I've done that. And then I have, this is mica, and this is another alcohol ink. This is what looks, you know, when I poured it, and then you can see what it looks like on the inside. And then this is what's the top. So, and then this here is just glitter. And then this circle is yarn. So I've already sanded it down, and then I'm gonna cover it with UV resin to smooth it out so it can be used safely. And then here's the other one that has yarn. So this is a Crocheted Heart, and this is actually alcohol ink. So this is what I've poured. No glitter. And then this is what it looks like on the inside. And then I put the yarn heart here, and then this is what it looks like on top. So yeah, I don't know, this is what I do to help my brain stop saying all the irrational things. Oh, and then the other thing, so I checked, I am 7 away from 100 subscribers. I mean, last time I checked, I was at 93 subscribers. So I'm really close to hitting that milestone. If those of you who may be lurking are not subscribed, I would really appreciate it if you subscribed. Hit that bell to notify you when I put up new videos. And then like this video as well. That really helps me out with YouTube. And then my plan is to have a live. I'm gonna have a live with somebody. It's in the works. I'm not gonna say with who until everything is finalized. But I will be having a live, and the live is going to be on September 18th. And then the plan is to have it at like 10 or 11 o'clock my time. If you're in the Midwest, that means I am 5 hours behind you. So if you want to do the math, you can figure out where the time is for you if you want to join. I'll have it even if only one person shows up. But it's to celebrate my birthday, which is on September 13th. I will be 44, and just to kind of, and then I'm hoping that by then I will have hit 100 subscribers. And then in that live, I will also be doing a tiny giveaway. It will not be anything close to, you know, what any of the larger channels have. But yeah, that's the plan, is to have a live on the 18th. If any of you out there that are creators would like to participate, please let me know. Send me an email. My email is in my description box. I would happily have you to be co-host or whatever, or mod, or whatever it is. Yeah, so that's the plan, is the 18th of September to celebrate my birthday, because the 19th or the 13th is my birthday. So if anything changes, I will let you guys know, but that is the plan, is to have the live. It's to, number one, to celebrate my birthday, number two, give back to you guys by having the giveaway, and then also just to be able to chit chat with you. And it'll also be a self-care Sunday as well, because I believe that is a Sunday as well. So it's all of the things rolled in as one. So I'm gonna wrap it up right now because I'm starting to get really tired. And I hope you enjoyed all of this. For those of you that keep coming back to watch my content, I really appreciate it. And for those of you that are new, welcome, and I hope you stick around, because I do have fun things that I want to do, and also I do hope those that lurk do join. And then also, I am only looking to, right now, my goal is actually not right now. My goal is just to hit 1,000 subscribers. After that is just gravy. It would be nice to get the 4,000 watched hours, and then after that, that's it. I'm not looking for anything more than that. What I want is my Etsy shop to take off whenever that happens, and I know it's getting there. So thank you everybody for sticking with me and keeping on watching. And then when I'm ready to unmold, which maybe Monday or Tuesday, I will post a video of the unmolding. So yeah, until then, I will talk to you later, and a big mahalo from me to you for being a part of this channel. Until next time, bye bye.